sit down. We're almost to school. It's time now for the school report. Today we welcome Paul Franzwa, the Superintendent of the Independence Public Schools, brought to you by Poppy Bus Service. The school report starts right now.
It is that time again. It is Friday, and in the house I got Paul Franzwa with me on his day off even.
Yeah,
good morning, sir.
You bet. Good morning to you.
How is it going today on this Good Friday?
It's going well. It's going well. It's a little gloomy out there, but at least it's not raining. I wish the sun was shining, but yesterday on the way home, I think I went out and it was raining, and the air felt cold with all the moisture, and it was like, okay, put the winter jacket back on. But today I think a little warmer temps without the moisture in the air, so that's nice.
Yeah, it was good to get up this morning and not have my truck covered in ice.
Yeah.
It was not a good day yesterday. It was wet, cold, and icy. And this morning, waking up, this first thing I did, I went out and I just touched the top of my truck. All right,
we're good.
It's not froze. We're good. So
we were up. The superintendents were up at 4:30 on Thursday morning, driving around, checking roads, texting each other, and whatnot. It was sort of right on the edge of freezing, you know, and it could have went one way or another, but we all ended up having school and everything worked out, and everybody got there safe. And I think even like mid-morning, it was some of our people that do some transportation for us were saying that the roads it was getting icy. So once we got there, the 8-9 o'clock time was worse probably than the route to school. So
that's what we noticed too. Like I come in about 4:30ish, and it was fine. Yeah. It was on the truck and things like that. But after that, after 8 o'clock, it seemed to just kind of turn around on us.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's the way it goes. So we might as well jump into it. You guys are on Easter vacation right now with no school today or Monday?
Yeah, no school today, no school Monday. So a little break for the kids. Mm-hmm. I think the next stretch, we have an in-service on April 24th. It's a Friday, and then it's Memorial Day. So it's a straight stretch until early June when we finish with kids, and only 2 days in there with breaks. So they better enjoy this one.
Yeah, it's your last chance.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's good. And you got state testing season is coming up.
Well,
or are you in it already?
We're in it.
Okay.
We're in it. Last week we did our high school state testing. It's the pre-ACT for like freshmen and sophomores, and then the ACT for juniors. It's a state test that all public schools take, and so we did that. And it takes a village to do that. In our school, we all sort of chip in. I proctored the test for a small group of students, and they all work really hard. I mean, we did it on Wednesday and Thursday morning, so from like 8 o'clock until lunchtime both days, and we get through it a little longer for our juniors because they take a little bigger test and whatnot. But so that went well. And then next week our elementary and middle school students will be doing their forward testing. That's another state test. So and it's one of the measures that we use to determine how we're doing. It's just sort of a benchmark, and we can compare to other schools. They do use this, a part of the state test results, to determine our school report card score. So just one of the measures we use to determine success. So the hard part is getting kids to really put forth their best effort on something that they're not graded on.
I know.
They're tested so many times, and because we also do like a screener. So a screener we administer in the fall, the winter, and the spring, and that's just see how we're doing, and see where kids are at, is their growth. But so between the content tests that they take, the screener that they take 3 times a year, and the state test, the kids are just sort of tested out sometimes. But we have a few things to keep them motivated and to help them to put forth their best effort.
Yeah, and I remember that from high school too, because you do get into the testing and you're like, wow, we're not getting graded on this, and I'll just go
C all the way down, But and then so we look at the results, and we share them with students and see where they're doing and send stuff home. So it's a mandated test. It's been around for a long time, and all public schools do it. So
and Tuesday it's going to be time to vote for new school members, it sounds like?
Yeah, new school board members.
Yep.
So it's Election Day on Tuesday, April 7th, and we have 2 vacant seats. Jen Rumbowski and Bob Guza's seats are up for election. Jen has decided to not run this time. I think she's been a board member either, I would say, probably 9 years, 6 or 9 years. It's a 3-year term. So, but yeah, Jen was a wonderful school board member, and we're really going to miss her and her perspective. I think what makes a school board effective is having different perspectives, everybody coming to the table. And Jen had a different perspective when compared to the other ones, and really brought a lot of good thought to the table. So, but anyways, yeah, so Bob is running again, so he's the incumbent. And then we have Rosalie Bouch, Ryan Gilbertson, and Alan Nuttleman. So 4 candidates running for 2 seats.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, and being a school board member, you're the liaison from the community to the school, and you're the one that people reach out to with questions or concerns, or and so that's an important position, and it's a commitment by our school board members, and all of our school board members really have a lot of pride and really care about education and what we're doing for students, and care about our staff and care about our facilities. So it's a big commitment. It's an important position, and so I would just encourage people to get out and vote for those 2 positions.
Yeah, and like you said, it can be a little bit of a thankless job for people, because a lot of the job is explaining to your members of the community kind of how, first you have to kind of explain how this stuff works for them to understand it, and then, take in what they have to say too on it.
Yeah, so that, like I said, they're the liaison from the community to me and the rest of the school staff, and it's my job to communicate with the board and inform them, so they have the knowledge and the resources to have those conversations as well. So, yeah, important positions, and I encourage people to get out and vote.
Yeah, and you want to talk a little bit about school referendums?
Oh, yeah. On Tuesday, it's not only, voting for a variety of things, but there's just a couple of local school referendums that I wanted to touch on. Oliva Strum within our area and Blair Taylor are going for referendums. So both are operating referendums, not facilities. But yeah, so, and they, I'm sure, have spent since January educating their community so they can make an informed decision. I read an article in the Whitehall Times yesterday, or the Trempealeau County Times, about Blair's efforts to get the message out. So sounds like Lynn's been doing a lot of good work with that, and I wish them the best and hope that they have success, because that's important, again, to continue on. You need the resources to be able to continue on with the things that we're doing.
Yeah, and we know how in the schools, sometimes it's a lack of resources, and you guys doing the best with what you have. Yeah,
and I mean, I was reading Lynn's article, or the article about the Blair Taylor School District this morning, and if they pass the referendum, their mill rate's going to go down.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, school funding's it's really complicated. But honestly, to explain it to just anybody, the best way to explain it is, it's a formula in which the more money you spend, the more money you get in aid. The more money you get in aid, your taxes go down.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line and a balance, and you don't want spikes, and you don't want, anything to increase or decrease too much. So you're looking for that consistency. But yeah.
And like I said, it's a balancing effort there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you got professional development focus for liftoffs. You want to tell me a little bit about that? Our last 2 months of school?
Yeah. So our school leadership team we meet, about once every 2 months. And we had a presentation from liftoffs recently, and really just talked about how could we bring some of those efforts into our school. And so then we had liftoffs come, they made their presentation, we talked about it, and we're looking at incorporating a couple more things. So the staff members can choose one of the core areas of liftoffs, which is personalized learning, authentic inquiry, durable skills, or global readiness. They can focus on one of those 4 areas with liftoff support. Or we have a PSYOP certified instructor, Sophie Whitecheck, was in our building, and that's PSYOP stands for, education's got all kinds of acronyms, right?
Yeah.
PSYOP stands for Sheltered Instruction Observation Protocol. So what that means in layman's terms is basically it's best practice instructional techniques.
Okay.
So like, what are the things that really make a difference what are the moves I can make when I'm instructing students that will help? And so PSYOP is there to sort of help our English language learners, but all of those techniques help all of our students. So Sophie is certified in that. And then our last one is instructional coaching. We have a lady by the name of Lori Betterkind, a individual that I worked with in my prior district, and we hire her for some consulting and support that she can provide for our staff. So they pick from one of those areas to focus on for the last 2 months. Again, one of the 4 core areas with liftoffs, PSYOP with Sophie, or instructional coaching with Lori, and they're going to focus on that and get support from those individuals over the last 2 months. So just trying to continue our efforts. One of our goals this year with our school leadership team was to focus on instructional or tier 1 instruction, which is the instruction that all students receive, and then also behavior. So we're really just trying to support our staff with those efforts, and so for the last 2 months we'll focus on that. So excited about that. We kicked that off last week and then sent out a survey. People signed up. And now those 3 individuals are working with the people that signed up for their area to provide support.
Yeah, that's great. And you're hiring new staff next year, it sounds like.
We are. We have our board meeting that's coming up next Thursday, April 9th. And one of the positions is a new custodian position. So we used to have 4 custodians, and right now we're at 3.5. Maybe even like 3.4. An individual, Keith Pronzinski, who was a longtime custodian, retired and now comes back on a part-time basis. But Keith's going to step away for good. So we're going to bring that position back in full-time now. And so we'll have 2 daytime custodians and 2 PM custodians. So we're going to take an individual's name to the April 9th board meeting. So we're excited about that. And then a new special education teacher. We had 4 special education teachers in the past. We had posted to replace when somebody retired last spring, or not. They actually left to take a position closer to where they live. But so we posted for that and didn't really get the quality and number of applicants that we were looking for. Posted it again this year, and we found an amazing individual that we're going to take that name to the board. So it's that time of year, as you're getting ready for next year. We're also, Dawn Whitecheck, a longtime guidance counselor, curriculum director, district assessment coordinator. She's been there for over 30 years. And when you're in a district for a long time, you really take on a lot of responsibilities and wear a lot of hats. Dawn is retiring at the end of this year. And so we're getting ready to also interview for her replacement in a couple weeks. So those are 3 new positions, 2 of which we've already done the interviews and are taking candidates to the April 9th board meeting. But then Dawn's position we'll be interviewing for, and we've sort of taken her position. People like Dawn don't really exist out there. She's just an amazing individual, and we've divvied up those responsibilities and divided and conquered. So it'll look a little different than compared to what Dawn did, but we are replacing the position. So
okay. Yeah, so if someone wants to apply for that position, they can still apply?
They can still apply.
Okay,
yep.
So just visit the website. Is the job on there? Or?
It's on WeCan.
WeCan, okay.
WeCan. It's a site where all districts post their vacancies there, and people go out onto WeCan and check that out. But yeah, we've had a fair number of applicants, and actually called for interviews yesterday, set those up for Thursday, April 16th, but always, the more the merrier. You know, if we can get more people in the pool, it just increases the odds of us getting a candidate that is a strong candidate and a good fit for us, and hopefully a good fit for them as well.
And hopefully someone will be there for another 30 years.
And that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
That'd be
love
great.
that consistency.
Yeah. Well, what else we got going on?
Well, I've worked with our bookkeeper, Carrie Peterson, for about the past 6 months, and we've worked on revising our salary schedule. So the past 2 referendums that we have passed in Independence have, part of the focus with those referendums is to be able to competitively compensate our staff in an effort to attract staff and retain staff. When I came there, we weren't where we needed to be, and people were leaving and going to neighboring districts for positions and getting compensated more. That was a big reason why people were leaving. So our community has been very supportive and have given us the resources to be able to do this work and to keep the good people so they can do the good work to prepare our students. So the system that we had been using for the past, it was the one that I inherited, so I don't know even how long before me, but it was complicated, and people had a hard time understanding it, and it just wasn't sustainable for us. So Carrie and I have been working, like I said, for about the past 6 months to revise this. And we've been now more recently, in the past couple months, meeting with staff and talking to the board, and hopefully we can bring that to the April 9th board meeting as well. If things are approved there, we can issue contracts in May, and then they have to sign them before they leave in June. So that's just sort of the process. But I just wanted to, because the community, part of our selling point with the past 2 referendums was around compensating staff. Now we have redone our whole salary schedule, and in doing that, we want to be competitive, and so we've looked at a lot of neighboring school districts, looked at their models, looked at where they start, looked at where they finished, how do they compensate bachelor's degrees, how do they compensate master's degrees. And so we have a system now, and it's just making sure that we're listening to our staff and trying to keep the best interest of our community, so we can have something that is sustainable and doesn't get us in a pickle moving down the road.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's great. And it sounds like you got some stuff that I can't believe we're going to talk about. Summer school's coming up.
People have contacted us about summer school. So before you know it, we're going to be starting summer school. So this year June 8th through June 25th, we start. I think we finish with students in the early part of 1 week, like on a Tuesday, and then the next Monday they come back for summer school. It's going to run for 4 weeks.
Okay.
Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2:15. We offer a free breakfast and a free lunch. All public schools get that. It's funded through the state and the federal government. So, and actually even all community children can come for a free breakfast or a free lunch.
Okay.
If you're between the ages of 1 and 18, and so it's typically just our summer school students that are participating in this. But and then transportation will be provided. It won't be the same as the school year.
Okay.
It'll be a modified route, but so we can get them to and from. We can do some fun things, some enrichment. There'll also be some content-based things, some remediating, whatnot. It's an opportunity to continue to work with kids that are behind, and it's an opportunity to enrich. And if you're a staff member and you have an interest or a passion in something, you can share that with students. It's just it's a fun way to get to know kids, and for kids to get to know teachers differently. So we get them to and from school, we feed them, we educate them, and it's a good way to fill the summertime as opposed to sitting around and doing nothing.
I know from my experience, like I had kids who, they loved school. Well, 2 of them did. They loved school. They did really well. And when summer school would come around, they would sign up on purpose to go because it's a fun time for the kids. It's not like regular school. They still have some fun there.
Yeah. So we've done a number of things like a camping unit or bicycle safety or outdoor adventures, just different things, or even more of like the knick-knacky stuff, and again, all of that is balanced with some curricular things. In the elementary, they don't always have a lot of time for science and social studies during the school year. That's more of an incidental thing, or taught through our reading, and so in the summertime they can do some of those science projects, some of those hands-on learning things, and kids really love it. So
yeah, that's great. And it's April, so it is prom season. You guys have prom coming up, I hear.
We do. We are so fortunate to be able to offer the prom at our historic opera house. So, huge thank you to the Friends of City Hall and where we are able to host that. It's a beautiful venue, and the kids love it there. And it's just to get off site and be someplace different, and special day for them. So, but that's on Saturday, April 25th. The after prom this year is a little different too.
Okay.
They're going to the Lunda Center. So I think the dance goes from I don't know if it starts at 7 or 8 that night, but it goes until 11. And then they're going to get on a bus for after prom and go to the Lunda Center in Black River Falls.
Oh, wow.
And then they'll come back early in the early morning hours and be very lethargic the next day on Sunday, and hopefully get to school on Monday.
Yeah,
but
we all remember those days.
Yeah,
prom's always a good memory, I think, for a lot of people.
It is. It's one of those high school memories. It's one of those memorable dates. Graduation, prom, and all of that stuff.
Yep, all comes with growing up.
Yep.
And so you got some spring cleanup scheduled too for some sports teams and coaches involved?
Yeah, so on that same day, Saturday, April 25th, our area Lions Club does a spring cleanup where they, you can take different things to some sites, and they'll haul it away for you, or they'll just help out and clean up different parts of the city. And our student athletic teams and coaches and different organizations all chip in and help out. So that'll be a very busy day with the Lions Club spring cleanup on Saturday the 25th, and then leading to prom that night and after prom. So again, Sunday will be definitely a lay low and recharge day, so they can get ready for the next week.
Yes, it will. And we might as well end on spring sports because they are in full swing.
In full swing. We had a softball game and a baseball game canceled yesterday, but our track team went to UW Stout last night. I haven't heard how they did. I know we have girls that are participating in the co-op soccer, so they go to Arcadia for that. And we have our spring golf team. So all of those sports, and just really weather dependent for many of them. So our athletic directors are watching the weather and communicating with other schools, but every year, somehow, some way, they always find a way to squeeze it all in and get it done. So, but it's like our girls were pretty successful with the basketball, and they finished at the sectional final game, and I think some of them, overlapped with track practice had already started, and then a week later, softball starts, or, they're just so busy from one thing to the next. But that's really good for them. I think you do better academically when you're involved, and you're getting a nice workout, and just for a mental health perspective, it's just so good for kids. So
exactly,
we're fortunate to be able to have the facilities that we do and the opportunities that we do to offer those for our students.
All right, well, Paul, thank you so much for coming in today.
You bet.
Any famous last words before I let you go?
I just want to wish you and all of our listeners a happy Easter, and I hope you enjoy time with family and friends. And good food.
Yeah, we will. So thank you so much. We're going to jump right back into the hits after this.
Farmers deserve nothing less than the best to keep their operations growing. We've believed that since opening our doors over 40 years ago. At AgroLiquid, our team of experts